Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. From the Federalist. Unbelievable. Report reveals shocking double standard for bringing U.S. rioters to justice. The sheer similarities and differences between the treatment of the 2020 rioters compared to the treatment of the January 6th rioters are shocking. Yeah. Isn't that what the progressives and the leftists have been screaming about for years? A two-tier justice system? They don't care about that. They care about power and control. Let's read on. One would think a major report from a group representing America's top law enforcement leaders analyzing the widespread violent riots of 2020 would have garnered significant media attention. One would also think such a report would garner widespread discussion after the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol due to the parallels between it and the 2020 riots. Given our hyper-partisan environment, however, one would be woefully wrong. Yeah, it doesn't fit their narrative. Specifically, back in October of 2020, the major city chiefs released a comprehensive report full of data from dozens of cities that provides deep insights into the 2020 riots that plague America after George Floyd's death in Minnesota. The MCC's report served as an excellent after-action report that cities, states, and federal government could use to reform their practices and equally importantly, to prepare for future riots. With ongoing hunt and prosecution of January 6 participants and recent actions by Democratic Speaker Nancy Pelosi to veto Republican Kevin McCarthy's choices for the January 6 Commission, the MCC report has become even more relevant than ever. Yeah, it's a partisan farce, this January 6 Commission. They put only two Republicans that she allowed on there were people that hate Trump's guts. There's sure similarities and differences between what happened with and to the participants of the 2020 riots compared to the January 6th riot, and rioters are frankly shocking. First, the left, its media syncopaths, and dead-ender anti-Trump Republican Liz Cheney has spent inordinate amounts of time focused on the fact that the January 6th riot occurred at the U.S. Capitol as if that building alone served as the sole symbol of U.S. democracy. See, that's the thing. They went after a lot of federal buildings. They went after the Hart building during the Kavanaugh hearings, and all they got was a $50 trespassing fine. That was taking over a building. That was insurrection, but yet you got this from the media. Crickets. The left and corporate media have always been supportive when people burn or disrespect the U.S. flag, and when left-wing extremists storm Senate buildings to shut down the democratic process involving appointing conservatives to the U.S. Supreme Court. The left media Cheney outrage would appear far less politically driven if the 2020 rioters didn't also focus, as the MCC report notes, on government buildings and other iconic public buildings, including city halls, in which our federalist system are equal symbols of the U.S. democracy. Here's the report documenting that. More than half of the major city law enforcement agencies, 56%, experience arson incidents. How many arson incidents were in the January 6 riots? The answer? 0. Individuals committed these crimes targeted a variety of structures, including government buildings, places of worship, and seemingly random stores and businesses. Law enforcement buildings and property were also popular targets. They burned down a police station. Burned it down in a major city. That's not insurrection? One agency reported dumpsters, trash cans, trees, furniture, and vehicles being set on fire. A UPS truck was reported as being looted and set on fire in another jurisdiction. In many cities, City Hall, as well as other iconic public buildings and federal courthouses, were targets of arson. Yeah, that's not insurrection. They got anybody that got arrested got cut loose right away. No bail. Look at this. Total number of acts of looting, arson, and attacks on police last year during the riots. almost 2,400 looting incidents, 624 arson incidents, 97 police cars burned, over 2,000 police officers injured. And those guys at the January 6th commission are all tearful about what? Look at what's happening to these poor police across the country. Now, here's an example of dissimilar treatment for far worse actions. The January 6th riot involved no guns or fires among protesters, only makeshift weapons like flagpoles, batons, and objects from the area. Yeah, granted, it still sucked, but it's nowhere near the amount of damage and death, I might add, than the rioting last year, which this current administration, including our vice president, condoned on national TV several times. In contrast, the 2020 riots involved guns, incendiary devices, lasers, paint bombs, and fireworks that were used to torch buildings and cars, hurt police officers, and destroy meaningful parts of many U.S. cities. They tried to burn down a federal building, I believe it was either Seattle or Portland, with federal agents in it. They tried to burn them up alive. And yet, did you see these draconian penalties? Nothing. Very, very few got arrested. Tiny amount compared to thousands. Where they're going through all kinds of video, going after people that are outside the Capitol at the rally. Two-tier justice system. Where's the ACLU? Well, here's the comment from the ACLU. Yeah, thanks, ACLU. I can't read. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you can stop the video and check out some of these graphs here. I mean, look at this. Frozen bottles, rocks, firearms, 51%. Incendiary devices to include Molotov cocktails, almost half. Lasers used to target the eyes of officers to blind them permanently, over 40%. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. In stark contrast, the left and the media continue to falsely claim law enforcement officers were killed on January 6th. While some law enforcement officers were certainly injured during that riot, the numbers and severity are far below the law enforcement injuries from the 2020 riots. That's true. Unbelievable. The number of officers that got killed in the Capitol riot was 0. It's a lie. I feel bad for the officer that died 2 days later. I believe he had a stroke. 2 men outside the building, they were part of the rally. One had a stroke, one had a heart attack. And there was a fourth gentleman, but it had nothing to do with the violence of the Capitol riot. But there was one fatality, one gun fatality, an unarmed protester. Yeah, she shouldn't have climbed in the window. That's all she did. She broke nothing. She hurt nobody. She destroyed nothing, and they shot her. I'll tell you what, though, if that was reversed and it was some city in the United States and that person was black and the cop was white, there would have been hell to pay. But again, here's what we get from these same progressives. Sorry, I'm using my cricket button a lot, but I think it's more than justified. In contrast, the only person violently killed on January 6th was an unarmed protester, Ashley Babbitt, at the hands of Capitol police officers, who, as Denny, still remains unconfirmed by public officials. How come it hasn't got leaked out yet? Believe me, if things were reversed, they would have got leaked out. It's quite a long article, so I'll just breeze through it here. Unbelievable. The weekend of May 29th to the following Monday, June 1st, was by far the most violent for many major city law enforcement agencies. These events had thousands of people in attendance, including groups with suspected violent political ideologies, prepared and coordinated resistance. That sounds like insurrection to me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Much ink has been spent detailing the far-right extremists involved on January 6th, with the heads of the DOJ, FBI, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and even the U.S. Department of Defense claiming the right-wing extremists are the biggest threat to America. Yeah, little risk has been spent detailing the far-left extremists involved in the 2020 riot that unequivocally did far more damage and engaged in far more violence than what happened on January 6th. Yeah. Two-tier justice system. Finally, the January 6th rioters, and even those present that day who only non-violently entered the U.S. Capitol, are hunted down, charged aggressively, and left in jail for months on end. Can you imagine if there was a young black man, say in Detroit, that was held for 6 months in jail for trespassing? There would be hell to pay. Even worse, they're being let go with no penalties or mere slap on the wrist, the rioters from 2020, that is. Unbelievable. Oh, gosh. Vice President Kamala Harris and her Hollywood friends raised funds to cover their bail. No judge ordered the 2020 rioters to endlessly rot in jail. True. Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. That gives you an idea. Dismissed cases by the district attorney, the graphs. This is quite a report. And like I said, I'm not going to read it all. You can stop the video and read it if you like. Unbelievable. Although we see themselves as modern-day versions of King Leonidas and his fellow Spartans at Thermopylae, protecting Greece from the Persian barbarians, it is the left, the media, and the the Republicans like Cheney, who are pushing for two standards of justice to apply the same type of conduct or worse. Unbelievable. Yeah, you're right. This is how a banana republic acts. The core foundation of our country rests on the people believing there is equality under the law. The similar treatment of the 2020 rioters and January 6th rioters is fracturing that foundation more with each passing day. As Abraham Lincoln wisely noted, a divided house cannot stand. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Unbelievable. Even for those guys. Even for those guys, it's unbelievable. I just hope we can hang on a year and a half. And I hope these poor people get out of jail soon. Just the trespassing ones should just get a fine. That's fine. The ones that committed violence and broke things have restitution and jail time. Have no problem with it. And the ones that actually assaulted and committed violence, longer sentences. Have no problem. But folks, what happened to the rioters last year? Hundreds of thousands of people when you add them all up. I doubt if 1/100th of 1% actually got arrested. And then on top of that, they were cut loose without bail. And most of the times the charges were dropped. This is disgusting and it's wrong. And the progressives have been screaming about the racist United States and how it's a two-tier justice system. Oh, where's their screaming now? Unbelievable. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.